What's going on, you guys? I'm here with a new video today, and yes, I'm here to do a new deck profile for you guys. But before I do, I have to talk about this beauty that I have in front of me. For those of you that don't know what this is, and I know it's brand new, so a lot of you might not know what it is actually the Gem accessories. They used to be known as Gem playmats. Their new Deck Tech deck box, and it's absolutely insane. This is the Dragon Blood one. I just want to show it to you guys. The deck is actually in here. As you guys can see, it's a very big deck box, which is awesome. I know a lot of players, myself included, have been using double deck boxes for a long time. The design is insane. The dragon is really nice. You know, the embroidering and everything. The material is really nice and whatnot. I'm just going to show you guys like what it looks like. It's fantastic. You open it up. Just like any other like double deck box, you have the magnet closure there and all the other stuff. And what's cool is, what I like about this design is, compared to other double deck boxes, you have multiple compartments. You have your main deck compartment, you can put your extra deck here, your side deck here, you can put your extra deck in here with your main deck. Whatever you want to do, the sky's the limit, which I really like. I like how it's designed. I like how everything just looks. It's really neat. It's really cool. This can hold up to like 150 cards, which is insane, including with sleeves, so it's really awesome. Like I said, the design is really nice too. You guys can see here it says Deck Tech and whatnot. I think Gem really knocked it out of the park with this one. And the last thing that's part of it, of course, you always have to have a spot for it, but this one is different. It actually folds out, and this is actually for your dice. Obviously, I don't have that many dice, but you can put a lot more dice in there. You can probably put other things in there, maybe like a hand sanitizer or something, because you guys already know how it is. You know, you got to keep your cards clean. But I just wanted to show this to you guys before we get into the deck profile. I think it's a beautiful box. I think they did a great job. If you guys want to purchase one, links in the description. Just follow the website. Just go there, and you guys can get yourself one. They're really nice, and shout out to Gem for sending me this. It's definitely going to be my deck box of choice going forward. But anyways, you guys are here to see good old Guru control, and oh man, I already know there's gonna be a bunch of people that hate this deck. There's a lot of people that do not like this deck. I get it. A lot of people don't like this deck. I used to be right there with you. I used to utterly despise this monster and this deck, but what changed for me is that I had to realize that every deck that's ever beaten my ass, I need to learn to play it, I need to learn it, and I have to get better with it so I know how to beat it myself. And I can tell you right now, this deck has been the definition of that. Playing it, I've learned a lot of things about stun decks and whatnot. Even though the deck can seem degenerate by some people's standards, look at the format, look at how there's these 20-minute combos that make a board that you can't even play Yu-Gi-Oh! You know what? If your board is going to take 20 minutes, it only takes me 2 minutes to literally flip-flop Guru, set traps, and say good luck. So anyways, I'm gonna get into it. I got a lot of inspiration from the Subterror group on Facebook, so shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome. Whenever I post questions and stuff, they always give me great information. A lot of really good players on there, so shout out to you guys. Hopefully some of you see this deck profile can help me improve it, but this is the build I've been using online. Those of you that have been to my streams, you guys already know that I always test this deck out, and this is what we have before, of course, Dragoon Red comes out, but we'll get into it real quick. It's pretty standard, of course. For the monsters, Triple Guru, that doesn't need any explanation. Heart and Soul of the deck, along with the best hand trap, Triple Fiendus. This card is just insane. The fact that this can revive Guru is so ridiculous. People forget that. They think that if they get rid of your Guru, the game's over, but you literally just use Fiendus, and it's nuts. Being able to negate anything is ridiculous. I look at this deck like a puzzle, like a 4-piece puzzle with Hidden City, Guru, Fiendus, and Final Battle. If you get to those 4 pieces of the puzzle, I feel it's very hard to lose the game unless you just misplay or you get blown out by something that was you couldn't stop. But it's very rare that that happens. But rest of the monsters, 1 Archer. I like this card a lot. I love its effect when you have everything flip face down. You just start spinning monsters back to the deck. That's so valuable. This also can crash and get you Guru, which is nuts. I think this card is definitely necessary in the deck. And then the last monster I play for Subterrors, I am playing it this time. I'm going to talk about this. So I am not a fan of this card. I was never a fan of this card. I thought it was the brickiest card in the deck. However, more and more as I tested it, I talked to more Guru players. They told me I was crazy for not playing this card, and I can tell you, I went back and forth over this because I just really didn't like this card. But I realized that in a format like this, where decks like Eldritch, decks like the Rock deck exist, you need a high impact monster, and that's exactly what U-Matrix is. Being able to summon it, you know, when you use your Guru effect and you have no other face-up monsters is fantastic, because you can flip it and you can start banishing the Golden Lord, you can start banishing monsters on the board, and that's really important. You guys remember when we would play against Thunder, this was really good for getting rid of Colossus. I remember being on the receiving end of this card. This card is pretty crazy. I'll be honest with you, I'm going to keep testing it. It's in the deck for now, but it could be something I cut in the future if it proves not to be effective. But right now in this format, I feel U-Matrix is effective for getting rid of problematic cards, especially Golden Lord, board, especially playing against Eldritch. It's a very annoying matchup for this deck. So being able to kind of take advantage of the game by getting rid of Golden Lord is the way you play, because when you're only playing against their traps, your traps always beat them. So that's why we're playing the U-Matrix. Like I said, if you don't agree with it, you can definitely change it. But for now, I wanted to include all the Subterror cards. I'm playing pretty much everything that normal Subterrors play, and then I'll just explain like other choices. But that's it for the Subterror monsters for the deck. And for the rest of the deck, just hand traps. Triple Ash. It's the most generic hand trap. There's no reason not to play it. You can go through any hand trap in the game. This is still the most generic. You will always find something to Ash, and I feel it's just really strong in every format. I feel like you just have to play it. And then my other hand trap of choice, my only other hand trap was 2 DD Crow, and I went back and forth. I can't tell you how many times between Nibiru, cards like Valor, cards like Impermanence. There's so many different cards, and I just realized that, you know, all these matchups, sometimes you just need to have so many combinations of hand traps just to be able to play, and I feel that that kind of sucks for decks like this. You can win even when you go second. Your traps can just break your opponent's board. Hand trap wise, I looked at the most impactful, and while Crow is kind of iffy, a lot of people realize that Crow is really strong against decks like Eldritch. Again, this Eldritch is not a fantastic matchup depending on what version they're playing, but Crow can hit so many things. It can hit the Golden Lord and Grave, it can hit the traps before they banish, it can do a lot of things that other cards cannot. So I went back and forth, and I figured DD Crow is going to be the most impactful. For any deck that relies on the graveyard, the card's really strong. Again, if it's not your hand trap of choice, you can play others, but for me, I always go with the homie DD Crow. Again, other cards I considered were Valor, Impermanence, all those cards, but I feel like you need more than that to actually hit your opponent, and I would rather have the rest of my deck doing what it does best than bogging it down with hand traps and it not being enough. But like I said, for now, this is just what we've been testing, and Crow's been really strong. That's it for the monsters. For the spells, more standard stuff, of course. Triple Hidden City, best field spell. This card's nuts. I love its effect protecting Guru. It's just ridiculous. Being able to negate an attack is ridiculous. Card is fantastic. Great Ash bait too. Along with your draw card, of course, you need to play Triple Extravagance. There's no excuses. I know some players are able to get by without playing Extravagance. I think it's really hard in a deck like this. Stun decks like this and Ultrageist need the extra draws. They need to get to more cards in their deck. So I feel like you need to get this card. Once the reprint comes out, it'll help people who weren't able to get it before. But for now, I feel like it's absolutely necessary. For more 3-ofs, I play Triple Call by the Grave. Now, people will say, cut this to 2, you know, play some other cards. The thing is, I really like Call by the Grave. I want my Hidden City to resolve. I want my cards to go off, and Call by the Grave is so impactful going first or second, especially going first. Like, if you can stop a hand trap, it's insane. Even if you don't stop a hand trap, you can set it as a trap, and you can literally just get your opponent with it. I think this card's insane in this deck. I think this card gets a lot of value. This, along with the Crow, really makes your graveyard-reliant matchups a lot better, so that's why I play it. Along with 2 Duality. I don't like 3. I've tried 3 before. Obviously, you play 3 if you want to get to your more of your like side deck cards and stuff, but I felt that 2 is fine. Along with the Triple Extravagance, like you play enough draw power that hopefully you power through your deck. And since it's only once per turn, I feel that 2 is all you need. There's been a huge debate even in the group about how many you play, and I think more people have gone to 2. So I think we're doing something right. And then this is actually one of my favorite cards in the deck, the Cave Clash. This is another card that people will say this and U-Matrix are the biggest bricks in the deck, and I guess you could argue for both. The thing is, what I love about Cave Clash is 2 things. Number 1, you activate it and you have Guru on the board, you automatically have your Guru quick effect because it's a face-up Subterror card, so that's insane. You don't have to use Final Battle to resolve that effect. Not only that, if you grind with this deck, and sometimes it does come up, you need a grind game, and this helps you recycle all your monsters, especially your Fienduses, and I really, really like that. I value this card more than U-Matrix, to be honest. To be honest, I would rather play this over U-Matrix and not play U-Matrix, but I decided to include them both in this build because I think it's only fair we try out every possible weapon that we can in a deck like this. So that's why I'm playing it. I really do like it. You can say what you want, but I really like Cave Clash a lot. And then the Terraforming, of course, because we need to see Hidden City. So the 2 cards I didn't put in this deck, but I'm thinking of changing maybe some cards in the future would be Set Rotation with Necro Valley. I think both of those cards are really good. Obviously, to get to Hidden City, and also Necro Valley is really good against Eldritch and any deck that relies on the Grave. So we might see some changes as the format progresses, but for now, this is just the standard build. Onto the traps, obviously the namesake of the deck. Triple Judgment, like one of the best traps in the game. Just stop anything. Card's insane. along with Triple Final Battle. I went back and forth between 2 copies, 3 copies. You just want to see all 4 pieces of the puzzle. You want to see the Hidden City, you want to see your Guru, you want to see your Fiendish, you want to see your Final Battle. This card's insane. It has 4 effects. There's no reason not to play this card. I think this card is just like absolutely ridiculous. This card just makes the deck insane. Sure, if you draw it without Subterrors, it sucks, but your deck is pretty consistent that you should be able to get to your monsters as well. One of the best floodgates in this deck is there can only be one. This card is still insane. Every format, it's so strong against decks. You know, they put up a whole board. You can crack it with this. You can prevent a whole board with this. This card is just nuts. This card is absolutely insane. And then something I got from one of the guys in the Subterror groups who did well in the LCSs was instead of playing triple Crackdown, we decided to play triple Compulse. And I had to think for a long time, okay, you know, I really love Crackdown. I love Crackdown's interaction with Guru, but then I realized Compulse does a lot of things. Compulse can get rid of problematic synchro monsters, problematic XYZs. No matter what it is, it usually can get it. It can bait out and negate so easily. It can prevent further link climbing to get their monsters on the board. You can pulse a key one back. They're not able to resummon it, or they're out of resources. It's really strong. And also, what was brought to my attention, if you play against someone who plays Mystic Mind, this gives you an out. As you see, we're not playing any back row removal in this deck, but you use this card as an out because you can just bounce your monster back to your hand and literally just turn off Mystic Mind. So that was really strong. So shout out to all the players in the Subterror group that told me to play this card. The card's insane. And the last trap is double strike. Obviously, if I was playing over 40 cards, I'd play triple strike, but I just wanted to keep it at 40 cards. So that's what we have for this list. But yeah, it's a clean 40. Like I said, some things may change as we go forward, but for now I really like the list. Now we'll just go to our extra deck real quick. Again, I really like this extra slot for the extra deck, so it's pretty cool. Now this extra deck, you have to remember, is Guru. Extra deck doesn't matter that much. There's a couple cards you might make. I'd say the most important card is probably this, Triple Relinquished Anima. You just use a level 1, you use your Fiendish or whatever, and you literally just take a monster. It's pretty broken, so this card's fine. And then along with that, another level 1 is Link Karibo. I'll be honest, you rarely use this extra deck, so I'm just throwing down random stuff, to be honest. And then just the Phoenix. Like, these are the most generic Link monsters I can think of in this deck. And then the rest of it is just super poly targets because we side super poly. I don't even know really what to say. I mean, most dark decks, fusion decks, anything that plays stuff like this extra deck is probably just shit, to be honest. Like, this card does come up though sometimes in the mirror match too. But I mean, you just got to have all the possible targets. This is for Salomon Great, and then this is if you play against Cyber Dragons. I literally got this extra deck idea again from the Subterror group. This extra deck's like whatever. If we played Crackdown, if we didn't play super poly, obviously we played more like, I guess, proactive cards. But let's be honest, all you're doing with this is literally just shuffling it up and literally saying, hey, pot of extra, take 6. And that's pretty much it. I'll be honest with you. The only one I really like in this extra deck is Relinquish Anima. But that's it for the deck, you guys. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys are trying to build this deck, feel free to use my TCG player link. It's in the description below. It costs you no money, and it goes back to the channel, and I really do appreciate it. I really like Guru Control. Out of all the trap decks, if you were to ask me which one I would play, it would be this one. I like this over Altergeist. I like this over other trap decks. There's just something about it. There's something about Guru. It reminds me kind of Gravekeepers back in the day. Just, you know, you have set monsters that flip and flop, and literally you just play, you know, protect the castle with it, and I really do like it. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. I'll definitely take them into consideration. And again, this is just version 1 for the new format. We're definitely going to make some changes as the format continues, but I really like it, and I think that there's a lot of potential in Guru if you give it a chance. And if you're worried about this deck, there's plenty of ways to stop this deck as well, but just remember that sometimes you're not going to be able to always stop it, and that's the thing I really like about this deck, is it has a lot of answers to cards that decks usually don't, and that's one thing that you have to take into account. Trap decks exist in the format, so always prepare for them. But that's all I got to say, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, give it a thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.